bring those resources and the people that are leading those resources directly to our audience. Austin is filming this, so we'll be able to share the recording also to the masses. But I'm very excited to have our comptroller, Brooke Bearden, who's worked in so dynamic, and she can just tell you much more about her better than I can. But I don't know how Brooke does this and how she shows up for her constituents, but she does. But I also had the on your business advisory, and so we want to talk a little bit more about that. So that's why I really thought it was really important for you to come. And now I'm gonna make sure I have your title right, because I don't get people's titles wrong, okay? Names and titles are important. And so we have Melanie Corey, right? And she is the Senior Business Development Representative, Regional Growth and Retention for the Department of Commerce. So how many of you all know what resources the Department of Commerce offer, or the functionality of the Department of Commerce in our comptroller's office?
That's right here. That's how you do it.
That is why we are here. So with the day that the bridge collapsed, unfortunately, Brooke was scheduled to be here on the panel, and I mean, I was very surprised that we still had a lot of people show up, during that devastation. And so she was very adamant about still coming back and making sure that she shared her resources. So she simply got a mandate representative from her office. But I understood that not everybody has access to individuals like Melanie and Brooke. And so I wanted to bring that to you all. So we are going to get started with technology. So Brooke, I am going to start with you, and I would like for you to talk about the comptroller's office and how the functions of the office impacts all businesses.
Yeah. Great. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with you this evening. Thank you, Mara, for hosting us and for organizing us and for putting on these events. I think they're really important. So I'm Brooke Bearden. I'm honored to be the 34th comptroller of the state of Maryland. So many in my district, and so really started to learn, the importance of the investing and the difficulty that especially women, and especially Black women, had accessing capital, and the need for more support, frankly. And so when I started thinking about running for comptroller, just realized that this was an agency where I felt like we should have the opportunity to reimagine how the agency could support entrepreneurs, could support small businesses, could support women in the economy in a number of different ways. And so just a little bit about our agency and how it relates to small businesses. So first I'll say, we adopted a new vision in the Office of the Comptroller, and that is to work in partnership to create a state that is more equitable, more resilient, and more prosperous so that every Marylander can reach their full potential. Big vision. We only have 1,200 team members in our agency, so we're mighty, but we can't do it all, and so we really want to work with partners like those in the Department of Commerce, Under Secretary Anderson, like the Q here, and affiliates like it across the state. But to do that, to reach that vision, we adopted 3 core priorities. The first is to make the agency work better. And I think this is actually really important for small businesses because the Office of the Comptroller is sort of like the spine of the state. So we are not the forward-fronting agency very often. So you don't sort of see us when things are going well. But when there are hiccups, that is when we come into play. So a good example of that is the Port Act. So when the bridge came down, General Assembly passed the Port Act, which provided for support for businesses through the Department of Commerce, through the Department of Labor, and for individual port workers and longshoremen. So they are the forward-facing piece of that. You apply through the Department of Commerce, you apply through the Department of Labor, but we're the back end, so we process the checks. We make sure that you're a real business, not a fraudulent business trying to take money away from the state and take advantage of the situation, right? So we're the ones who are actually saying, oh, is this your actual bank account? Is this your actual address? And getting the money out to you. And so usually you don't even know that we're there, it just happens automatically. But sometimes there are challenges. One of those challenges, I'll say, is in a very heavily women-led area, which is child care centers. We have a lot of family-based and center-based child care centers in the city of Baltimore that over the past couple of years have had huge challenges getting paid by the state for the state child care scholarship program. Well, we went in, when I arrived, I heard about this, we talked with the Maryland State Department of Education, have been training their staff so that they understand what they need to get from child care providers so that we can pay people more quickly. So that's sort of making government work better for small businesses that we're trying to do, is make it a more seamless business experience. The other piece is about modernizing the agency. So I inherited an agency about technology from the early to mid 90s. I don't know if you remember what kind of computer you had or didn't have in the early to mid 90s, but it was not one that you can hold in your hand. So that's our technology right now for tax processing, for accounting, for everything for the state. So we are working really hard to push everything and pull everything into the 21st century. In February, we launched a brand new business tax portal called Maryland Tax Connect, where all businesses can pay their taxes online. You can see all of your interactions with our agency now, which is something you could never see before. It's sort of like an online, you can see your bank account, but you can now see your state bank account through the agency. And look, a lot of businesses were like, whoa, this is scary and new. So we did something really radical. The Office of Comptroller had never done before, and that is that we did webinars. Teaching businesses how to use the system. And so it's that kind of work, just making sure that people are comfortable, making sure that business owners understand it. Our second core priority is really reimagining the resources of the office so that they are sharing the resources of the office with the people and businesses of Maryland. And I think, webinars sort of go to that, like making sure we're sharing how to use the information in a way that's accessible for people. Whether it's videos or webinars or just setting up a call center. We also have a brand new small business director, Laura Gutierrez, something the agency has never had before. And she has been really available and getting out around the state as well. Our Boulder Public Works Director, Jasmine Clemens, also very available. She was the one who replaced me, and it's fantastic. Just making sure that people understand how to access us and how to, so that we can share the resources of the agency. And then the final, sorry, I'm being long-winded. The final core priority is really building for the future. And to me, that's really important. One of the essential parts of that is making sure that we're investing in our minority business enterprises through our state procurement systems, through our state retirement and pension system, because that builds a more resilient economy over the long term. When we have more women-led and diverse-led small businesses in every community around the state, it means that communities are doing better. It means that we're not overly reliant on one big contractor, and it just creates a stronger and more resilient economy. And so through our work on the Board of Public Works, through my seat as the Vice Chair of the State Retirement and Pension System, really diversifying where our money is going is another key aspect that we're looking at. So that's a long-winded way of saying, like, we really find important the work that you are doing and want to be helpful.
No, I appreciate that, and I can attest to it. So one thing, Brooke, I don't know if you noticed, but I pump you up in the background. I'm getting money with cheerleaders because I've never really seen a leader go in and actually, like, hands-on do the work and listen and get things done. And so you heard me mention that I sit on her Business Advisory Council, and then through that there are subcommittees. So I'm on the Economic Research and Analysis subcommittee. And today we actually had a meeting, ironically, and it's a working meeting. Like, we're actually working. It's not one of those things where we're just listening and complaining. We're actually working to deliver some deliverables to the comptroller so that she can execute or put her advice and execute those things. And so I do want you guys to understand that we have leaders in Maryland that are really working for us as business owners, and I can attest to work being one of those leaders that we appreciate.
Mel. So Mel was like, I don't know if I'm the right person for the job. Right? I was like, no, you're the perfect person for the job because we have businesses that interact with the work that we do at all stages. And I didn't know much about the Department of Commerce until I started to consult with TechCo. And we work very closely with the Department of Commerce and speaking to some of your colleagues. I'm like, no, people need to know about this. Michelle was actually one that didn't know about the manufacturing resources and got connected. And so I want you to talk a little bit more about the Department of Commerce and how your work impacts small businesses as well.
Absolutely. You know, what's funny,
Yeah.
we got to laughing because I said, the comptroller is every short. So we are on two different ends of the spectrum. So I have your boots on the ground for the Department of Commerce. And you're right. I'm thankful that we have people like Brooke up there. You don't see leaders like that very often. And I'm a little older, so I've been around a bit. And I was not even in state government until 4 years ago. So I had a whole career in medical diagnostics and then sales, and then I owned my own business. So I come from a different perspective, and this is really passion for me. I love Baltimore City, which is my turf, but there are 12 of us. So Maryland Department of Commerce is also a very small agency. There's only about 250 of us. So Brooks over here said, oh, we're only 1,200. I'm like, oh, girl, we don't have 250.
Comparing myself to other agencies across the
This is
country.
true. This is very true. But we are small, but we are mighty. And so what I think is important for you all to know is that there are hundreds of different programs. Some very small. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know every one, but why you would reach out to someone like me. So I'm your Baltimore City rep if you have a business here, but I have 11 other colleagues who cover every inch of the state. So if you are in Baltimore County or in Anne Arundel County, I'll direct you to the right person. But what happens at this point, at the very beginning, you can have a conversation with us. We talk about what your business is about, what your plan looks like, and more importantly, where you're headed, what type of financing you need. I'm not saying that we have it right there at the Department of Commerce right off the bat, but I can direct you to many programs. One might be the VOLT program. That is a state program that we actually, how do you say this? There are 7 managers of the VOLT program, and that is a low-interest loan program that comes from the monies from our casinos. So that might be something of interest or of value to you. You may be a new business or a new manufacturer who's just getting started, and maybe you bought a huge piece of equipment, and the training for that equipment costs $20,000. We have something called a PWQ grant, a workforce grant, that may cover 50% of that training. There's so many different things, and I don't want to go through them all, but what I'd like to stress today is to have a conversation with me in your area. We talk about your business, and then we direct your work.
Thank you, that was perfect. It is so many resources.
I'm sorry. So many resources out there with both offices, and I just want people to feel comfortable, right? Because you just don't know. I'm pretty sure when you said you guys heard the comptroller, you're like, well, tax time is over, right? When you think about the comptroller's office, we always thought about taxes, and it's far beyond that. And so, Brooke, I know you talked a little bit about this, but you do a lot of advocacy around the needs of your constituents in Maryland, right? It's not just you went from focusing on one area, like one specific area, to the entire state. And Baltimore City is a huge catalyst of our state. And so I want you to just touch a little bit on like the policy advocacy that, or your strategy around your policy advocacy to ensure that Maryland is inclusive.
Sure, thanks for that. I mean, I think first and foremost, I should say, I'll be honest with you all, I am not from Baltimore, but I got here as fast as I could. That was after law school for me. But I am a firm believer that Maryland will never be a truly great state in the Baltimore City region with full potential. And so when I think about advocating for the needs of Baltimore businesses and Baltimore communities, to me that's advocating for the needs of Maryland businesses and Maryland communities. They are not separate entities. And so I feel very passionately about that. In terms of sort of how we develop what we're working on, and so the word policy can mean something different to all different people. When I was a delegate, and if you said the word policy, I thought I meant a bill, right? And I'm working on a bill, and I pushed several bills, many bills related to small businesses when I was a state delegate. But now it's more about like what are the both internal policies that we can implement in the office of the comptroller to make sure that we're meeting your needs, and to make sure we're meeting the needs of business owners and our minority business enterprises. And then what are the external, sort of not legislative bill type policies, but policies that in government we should be working on. So a big one, of course, is, that I always like to remind people is our MBE goals for state procurement. So our goal as a state is 29%, and 29% of dollars used. And our MBE program, as you may know, is a subcontracting program. It's run through the Maryland Department of Transportation. That's where you get certified. But for items that come to the Board of Public Works, which I'm one of three, I guess I should say. So the Board of Public Works is a 3-person body. It's the governor, the treasurer, and me. And we are responsible for approving nearly every state contract that comes, nearly every state contract of over $200,000. So most state contracts these days, unless it's a small internal to an agency. And actually, we don't have bridge contracts. So people keep asking me when the bridge stuff is coming, and like the bridge stuff won't come to us. So it's just sort of a quirk of history. But with every other Wednesday we meet and we look through the items that the Department of General Services or the Maryland Department of the Environment or the State Highway Administration or my agency or Commerce are bringing to us. And there's always a category, what is the percentage MBE here? And so we have sort of made a renewed commitment, I would say, under Governor Moore and with me and certainly Treasurer Davis. We are keenly aware of that and pushing our agencies to not think of the 29% as sort of a check the box, but as a business development opportunity. And so, when SHA, the State Highway Administration, comes to us with they often have these, which is why I'm mentioning it, they have a lot of lawn mowing contracts, right? So mowing and cleaning the medians of highways, they have these like every meeting. And they have a 0% MBE goal because in that region, they've never had somebody under the NAICS code, right, register that they could do that work. Our response to SHA is go find a company that's an MBE and ask them if they need a loan to train up and to buy equipment so that they can get into this work and do it, right? It should be viewed more holistically as like a business development opportunity. Oh, look, we see that there's a vacuum there that we could fill. And actually, to that end, my agency's been leading and working with some other agencies on a big project, a big study of our entire procurement economy in the state of Maryland. And that study will be released at the end of next week. And what it really does is it maps our procurement economy so that we see where the gaps for MBEs are, and we can be more intentional about our efforts to fill those gaps and to find opportunities, and so that business owners can be strategic about, you find a need and then you fill that need, right? I know many of you, when you were starting your businesses, there was a reason you wanted to start your business. You saw an unmet need or a market that wasn't being filled, and you're like, I know how to fill that, I know how to make that product, I know how to do that work better than somebody else. Well, that's what this is trying to do for our procurement opportunities. And it's funny, procurement to me was this very esoteric concept when before I got into this role, but now procurement is money. It is state spending. It is how our tax dollars are spent, right? And so to me, it's an economic imperative and a moral imperative to make sure that we're spending it in a way that drives best value for the state. And that is making sure that we're investing in diverse-led companies across the state, because that builds a stronger economic future over the long term, I think. So our policies that are in my office are largely driven by that point of view, but then also like advisory councils, like the Business Advisory Council, who can say, hey, there's an issue with this one loan program, or we think that there's another idea that you could be pushing, or bring up to Secretary Jake Day, THCD, or bring up when you're meeting, I'm on the board of MISBIDFA, the State Small Business Development Financing Authority, or whatever it is that we could bring up and push. So we're always open to ideas. I'd like to say there's sort of no wrong door. I think there should never be a wrong door when you call a state agency. So if you call Mel and you need tax help, she'll send you to us. If you call me and you need to understand how to apply for the biotech tax credit, I'll send you to her. Yep.
So you guys kind of see like how these agencies are working together. And it's very, well, I don't want to say it's very rare that you'll be in a room with Brooke, because Brooke is literally everywhere. Literally, you might see her at a football game or baseball game. She's a concert, she's there, right? But I do want you all to have an opportunity to ask questions and even give some insight on anything that you all are struggling with when it comes to navigating your business and growing it and understanding how the resources at the Department of Commerce can help or how our comptroller can help. So don't be afraid to reach your hand and ask the first question.
Any questions?
Comments?
I would love to jump on this.
Yes, come, please.
You know, I was just thinking about what you were saying, Brooke. One of the things that I find sometimes when I'm first working, especially with a new business, they're like, what is an MVP? So I think that is the importance too of talking to people. Like one of the first things that I'll do is we'll talk about your business, what your plans are, and then we'll talk about the different organizations. Sometimes going to the SBDC, you're going to find that there are a zillion acronyms.
Yeah.
That's the Small Business Development Center. But, you know, they might be the ones to help you understand how do I get my license? What are my first steps? And then as you grow and develop and you begin to hire people, I might then connect you to my local economic engine, which is the Baltimore City Development Center. Okay? And each area has a local or regional engine. And we work very closely together. And they too have programs that tend to merge beautifully because we call them stackable. So some of the resources that they have stack along with what the state has. There's also services such as permit support, or maybe you've never written a business plan before, but you've got this brilliant idea, and then we might connect you to TEDCO, which is one of our organizations that can help you do just that. So there are just so many different elements, and I think that learning, knowing what you don't know, or learning about things that you don't know about, because you don't know what you don't know, that's your starting point. And then luckily we have people at the helm, like Brooke, who gets it, who understands that there are things that businesses need even before they know that they need it.
So, Brooke, no one raised their hands, so I'm going to ask you
I have
first
a
question.
question.
Oh, you do have a question. Yeah, I have a question, right.
Morgan, owner and operator of Competence Consulting Company. We do business development and digital marketing. I am in the system, all SAM. I'm in registered. I think I just received, not my MB, but there's another one,
SBR,
SBR.
Small Business Reserve.
Yes. So once you get the solicitations, I mean, I even see some of them that have my company name on them as a supplier, and I'm like, yes, they want me.
Yeah.
But then I go and I try to dissect that RFP,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the solicitation is so
Long.
intense.
Yeah.
And then I go in and I'm like,
Right.
it seems like a challenge because my team might not be big enough,
Yeah.
or there was one for events for marketing, right? For businesses, you can host, you can plan an event to market. I'm like, I've never hosted an event for over 100 people, but I planned an event for less than 100 people.
Right.
So it's like small, finer things that kind of like knock me out as I'm like reading through it, right? So I'm taking the time
Yeah.
to read through all 100 pages, which I think is also
Ridiculous.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
I would say it's ridiculous. I would say it's overwhelming.
It is.
Because as a small business owner, you're taking the time to read it, and then as you get to page like 80, then you realize, oh,
I don't
qualify.
qualify.
So what would you say for navigating that system of reading the solicitations and the...
Yeah, I really appreciate that point, and I think that your frustration is shared by small business owners across the state, is the first thing I would say, is that you are not alone. The Board of Public Works is a procurement advisor, and he put out a report earlier this year sort of detailing a lot of the challenges that he believes our procurement system create for small businesses, and actually the length and sort of opaqueness of the RFPs was one of the top 5. And I will tell you that that's a challenge for agencies too. So So we have a central office of state procurement in Maryland state government that's within the Department of General Services. And they create this template RFP. So that we get that template RFP as an agency and we have to fill it all out. So we just did an RFP for web design services. It was in SBR and it was like over 100 pages, as you said, even though we're just looking for a web designer, right? This is not rocket science. It's really important and a really big deal, but it's something that lots of businesses procure all the time. We didn't need a template. It just starts at 100 pages. Then when you start filling it in, it's even longer. So I would say that this is something, our plan is to release this procurement economy report at the end of next week, and then work with the governor's office to really dig in on what we can do to change some of the challenges that exist in state procurement right now, especially for small businesses. The second thing I would say is if you, second I would say, always please feel free to reach out. My BPW director is fantastic, and if you would like to connect with her, BPW's Board of Public Works, she's my director and helps advise and keep things going in procurement in our agency. So if any of you would like to connect with her or stay connected about these types of things, we'd be happy to connect. We also have a newsletter for small businesses now that we've started. So if you get your information to Mira, or if you just email me, we'll add you to our small business newsletter so you can get a monthly update on opportunities, on trainings, conferences. GOSPA, which is the Governor's Office of Small Businesses, they also do trainings on procurement. So there are other resources that we can connect you with as well. Before I forget, my email, is my work email is the one that actually makes its way to me. It's BEL, my initials, for those who clear my BEL at marylandtaxes.gov. So that one actually comes to me. So I'll send you over to Laura, our small business director, and make sure you get connected. Thanks.
That was a good question, a valid concern.
Yep.
Something that's going to take their time. Business advisory group is about. Any other questions?
Is it Maryland or MD?
MarylandTaxes.gov. I'll spell that.
I'm trying to cheat off my neighbor.
I do want to add, go ahead, no, you go.
So hi, my name is Kirsten Tucker, and I own a travel technology company called Itinerary. So we make medical itineraries with technology, but we make sure to include small businesses in our itinerary. So basically connecting people to local things to do. But the best part is it's based upon your travel personality. When we say travel personalities, are you a foodie? Do you like to party? Are you like cultural things? We've been in business for about 2 years. Our product has been on the market for 6 months. And my question is about travel and tourism. So I have seen a lot of technology things. I'm connected with TechCo, which has been great. But then there's also that travel and tourism. It seems like a lot of it pre-pandemic, but post-pandemic, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of things for travel and tourism. I do know there is like a marketing grant, but it's more so like a reimbursement. It's like an international type of marketing grant, but it's a reimbursement. And as a small business, it's just hard to sometimes put the money out for it and then wait 30 to 60 days to get it back. So is there any options for like travel and tourism grants and different things like that? It's really cool.
Well, when you say travel and tourism, are we talking about for you to go and to explore the places that you can help to?
Just any connection. So like Visit Baltimore has a website that is often used for like different things, but just for smaller businesses to kind of connect in with those travel and tourism, or even like hotels that we have here, just connections along that line.
So we do have our tourism department, and I can make sure you get connected there.
Okay.
But then I'm also thinking for you though too, if that is your line of business, we do have something called an export grant. It's not a lot of money, it's $5,000, but let's just say that you're trying to up your scale to be able to communicate with people internationally. The money can be used for that, for technology, or even to be able to travel to different places to be able to
I
communicate.
did apply for the export grant,
Okay, good.
but I had to be a reimbursement. So
Yes,
like you have
that's-
that X amount up front, and then once you get it back, then you can tally it up, and then we'll send it back.
Right, right. So good, so I'm glad you used it, but yes, you do have to be reimbursed.
Okay.
But you are approved beforehand, so if you know, like, if you're gonna do this, you send it in, you have to you complete the application before you do the event, or the traveling, or before you purchase some type of technology to help you, you have to submit, then you're approved, then you purchase it, and then you're reimbursed.
Okay.
But it can also, like I said, technology, but it can also cover things like an air flight to a convention that you're doing overseas, or maybe a hotel costs, those type of things.
Okay, thank you. I had no idea.
That's cool. I'm speaking out of turn, completely out of turn here, but it would be a cool thing too if like Visit Maryland had a little like widget on its website that was like, we can build a travel plan in Maryland for you, like,
And her name, her name is Liz, she's been around a long time with our tourism department, she's really, really good. Liz Fitzsimmons, and I will, happy to get you, maybe she'd be a good person, just to have a conversation, pick her brain, tell her what you're doing, who knows?
Yes,
Thank you.
Love it. Hello, I'm Chantel Brooks. I work for Truist, and my question is, does the state have some type of partnership with banks to let us be able to articulate this kind of information to our clients? Because we have a lot of people that come in, some startups, some are thriving millionaires, right? But for the ones who are starting up, or even the ones that are more affluent, I mean, I don't think they even know about the resources. Yeah.
It's a good question. I mean, I think probably between like Candy Fish and us, it would be worth trying to get together with the Maryland Bankers Association and figure out how, working with you all to figure out what is it that we could put together, and DHCD too, the Department of Housing and Community Development, to see sort of what are the materials that we can make sure that folks who come in to the banks can get about state opportunities, right? Even I'll say even nonprofits, we did this training for nonprofits not too long ago in Prince George's County, and I think there were 100 plus nonprofits there, and 70 of them didn't know that they could get sales and use tax exemption certificates, which my agency does, and we were like, yes, you don't have to pay sales and use tax, and so we started doing all these certificates for them, which was great, but I was like, oh my gosh, we need to get people's information, when they're getting their bank accounts, right? So it's a good question. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but it would be a good partnership to start to figure out how we can get that information out more. So we'd be happy to follow up on that.
Especially with a lot of community banks, because we
Yeah.
work very closely with Truist, and
Yeah.
we're always sending clients to
Yeah.
Truist, and
Yeah.
absolutely, I'm a little biased because I'm Team Truist, but we appreciate it.
I'd say, so, we're looking at the big picture, which is important, what we have to do, but as a small scale right now, when you leave today, you should always, anytime you're talking to a business, especially in the region and what they're doing, just say, have you talked to your commerce representative? Have you talked to your local, economic development association? Because there are programs, we even have MIDFA is a program that is a wonderful grant. So if a business is getting started, so if a business is getting started, it is a relationship with the bank that the programs works through to help them maybe at least get an extra 20% of the way that they might not have been able to otherwise get.
We have time for one more question.
It wasn't a question, I was just gonna say that our company, my name is Marshall Hart, we're developing a finger joint implant, so it's a medical device. And we just moved our accounts to Fulton Bank from Bank of America, because Fulton Bank has a life sciences division. And it's very much oriented towards supporting medical device companies. And some banks, they have other programs that support business startups.
Yeah, a fun fact, so one of the people that started that program used to be with the Department of Commerce, and they saw the need, and a lot of the community banks are picking up on what are those needs and the gaps that the big banks are filling, not to say one is better than the other, but I think it might be worth exploring a lot of different avenues.
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Tanisha. I'm a business owner of Huffston Management. I provide everything with real estate. I wanted to know if there's a website that we can stay connected with, where we find out different events or different opportunities for business owners, because I feel like being in business, the length of time I have, I feel like sometimes I want to go, and being a part of Tamara and her emails was the only reason why I heard about this evening, but to stay connected is sometimes hard. I mean, you see people posting on Facebook like, oh, hey, I didn't hear about that, or,
So that's what we send out in our monthly small business newsletter. We sort of talk about the work we're doing, about what other agencies are doing, and the end is a list of events. Not that we're doing, but that we've collected from other agencies. So please email me and I'll send you to make sure you get on. Or if you just go to our website, marylandtaxes.gov, you can hit sign up for our newsletter and just click small business and you'll get routed to it too.
And the same with the Department of Commerce, because we take a lot of our resources that we put in our newsletter, from your newsletter, and we send like what we're doing to the Department of Commerce and the Comptroller's Office. I try to deploy the resources as best as I can. If you're connecting with me at Petco, I'm sending out, things as I'm getting them. So yes, get on their mailing list, because we do take a lot. We can't take all of the resources, of course, but we're trying to take a lot that we feel like are relevant to our community. So I do want to thank you both. I appreciate it. Give them a round of applause.
Your idea. So now what we're doing?
Oh, money?
You know? All right, so we have yeah. All right, so for those 3 individuals that are pitching, actually I'm gonna pass this around. I need to make sure that you are present, so you can check your name off. All right, for the 3 individuals that are pitching their idea, what we're looking for is real simple. We want you to tell your story. We want to tell what problem you're solving, who's going to buy the problem. So what's your solution? Who's going to buy it? Who's on your team if you have a team? And then what will you use the $1,500 for? All right?
One more thing. Say it again, let's again, please.
Yep. So, what problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? How do you know that it's a problem? Man, stuff down. How do you know it's a problem? How do you know it's a problem? How are you going to get your product or service to the market? So, what's your marketing strategy? You don't have to go too in detail with that. Who's on your team? And then what will you use the $1,500? We good? All right, so we have 3 people that are pitching their idea. Anybody else before we close it out? Woman, man. Oh. That's something new that Doc put in there. All right? And if you pitched already and have won, you cannot pitch. All right? So ready? All right, well, let's first just do some objectives. So we're going to go from left to left.
Hi everyone, I'm Alana Davis. I am the secretary on the board for National Association of Entrepreneurs. What are your judges today?
And what business do you have?
I am a real estate broker. We're Berkeley Group University. We're located in Mount Washington. And in the neighborhoods of Baltimore City. I service the entire state of Maryland. So if you're looking to buy or sell real estate,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shamia Lee. I'm with Fairway Independent Mortgage. My job is to help you with the financing if you need to purchase a home. You don't have it, you didn't win the lottery, you don't have cash, you need financing. That's my job.
Hello, everyone. I'm Takesha Jameson. I am the co-owner of the Cube.
All right. You want to pitch now. All right. So also, should they use the mic?
So the mic is working well, but yes, I would say using the mic will only enhance the experience of the day.
All right, continue. Alana said you need to hurry up. She's trying to watch the game. The Detroit Pistons playing the Chicago Lakers. Up first, we have Marcia Hart. The name of her business is DJI Medtech. All right, so give it up for everybody. Come on, clap.
My name is Martha Hart, and I'm the CEO of
Before you get started, I need time.
I'm very heavy.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Use your phone. Nothing's hanging up on my phone. Oh, wait, see. I mean, it's business stuff.
What time of Halloween?
Is it 3 minutes?
Oh, 3.
Three
questions.
questions.
All right, 3 minutes.
So my name is Marcia Hart. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digit Medtech. We're developing a finger joint implant for advanced to bring motion-preserving pain relief for advanced hand arthritis patients like me who can't get joint replacements today due to lack of innovation for more than 50 years. Most hand arthritis patients are stuck with fusion as the only option for pain relief. Most choose chronic pain rather than permanent immobility. Now, our team, including a top surgeon, a patient advocate, a mechanical engineer, and a regulatory expert, has developed a novel design that's endorsed by top surgeons that delivers superior performance and broader access with lower risk and lower lifetime treatment costs. The modular design is suitable for patients of all ages and all disease profiles. It's because it's revisable. Now, the intellectual property, we found a lot of that, is all wholly owned by Digit, not by a university. And the finger joint implants technology we developed can be adapted for other joints in the body as well. Now, to serve this huge and eager market of millions, we're raising funds to support milestones in preclinical testing. Now, every little bit makes a big difference. The $1,500 that I would like to win tonight would be applied to travel to a conference in Toronto in June that I've been invited to participate in, which is a networking conference. We're also, so whether or not you know someone who's living with hand arthritis, we invite you to help us transform the standard of care for millions by making joint replacement in the hands as routine and reliable as hip and knee replacements. Thank you. Any questions? I welcome any questions.
We open up for questions.
I just want to know if you could just elaborate a little bit about.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll take her question.
Go ahead, Tiff. Go ahead.
Just really quickly.
Jeff is not a real judge.
I know, I really want to know about the product, so we can talk later. I just want to know about some of the, okay.
So this is a first generation device. And this is a silicone, it's a piece of silicone. It functions not dissimilarly to the current devices, but it's designed for a different surgical technique.
Okay.
And the surgery that we designed allows you to move the finger rapidly after post-op.
Yes.
And there's a second generation device I have in my bag that uses, it's even more biomimetic in its path of motion.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do have a question, and maybe you spoke to this, but I didn't hear you. So the conference that you're traveling to, what is that?
It's the Creative Destruction Lab, which is a year-long competitive accelerator that our company was invited to participate in. And we've gained enormously from that experience with the Creative Destruction Lab. And there's a super session in June where they bring all the companies that made it all the way through the program. And this is a networking and fundraising opportunity event.
Thank you.
And it's in Toronto.
No question.
All right. No more questions? Next.
All right. Thank you. BioBuzz. BioBuzz. Come on down.
Hi all, how are you? Have you ever wondered, or your spouse I'm sure has, how Amazon delivers highly specialized products to your door seemingly overnight? Yes, right? All of us have, right? How does it get from here to there, no matter the product or what I need? So BioBuzz has, and what we're doing is we're building a proprietary talent logistics model to deliver life science talent on demand. You can think of it as like the or Upwork for the life sciences. I'm Kat Thorson, I'm the co-founder of BioBuzz, and we're delivering life science talent on demand. Many people struggle to find a job, right? I'm sure we've all been there or know someone that has. In the same way that we struggle to find employees. And so what we're doing, right, is we're creating an economy, right, that allows our platform to source, engage, qualify, and hire life science talent, no matter where you're starting from this. So if you've just left school and are looking for an opportunity in the life sciences, up until the time you retire and consult, we're creating opportunities that aren't just full-time, but are fractional as well. So there's a lot of contract work, contingent work, and part-time work in the life sciences, but there's no marketplace for that. A lot of people play the who do you know game, right? And that's not sustainable nor scalable. So we're delivering a highly specialized life science talent that employers are looking for the next day through our talent marketplace. So BioBuzz has been around for 15 years if you're not familiar. We've built a community of 20,000 across this region and have continued to scale into markets like Philadelphia and Research Triangle Park in North Carolina. We're already working with clients like Johnson & Johnson's J-Labs, QIAGEN, which is a global company headquartered out of Germany, and Insmed in the field. So we've evolved as our community has evolved and told us their needs. We relaunched BioBuzz Networks this last year to create a network of networks in the life sciences. And we launched our talent marketplace MVP, minimally viable product, this first quarter of 2024. We're already making matches, which is very exciting, and we're continuing to evolve our product and our technology. We hope to be commercial ready by 2025. And this investment is a small step towards that as we continue to develop our product. My co-founder is Chris Frew, who's been in the life science staffing industry for 20 years. We have a CFO who is fractional, but we're following by our own model. He's had 7 successful exits and 2 IPOs. And we have an amazing advisory board. So we've built a board with a national lens. The learning and development gentleman at Merck, Joe Sanchez, he's on our advisory board. Thank you all. Sure, so we're continuing to evolve our MVP. We had a crowdfund this last fall where we had 104 investors that solidified the need for us, and that helped us build our MVP product. We're seeking a seed round now actively, and so we're continuing the incremental pieces together as we continue to iterate into that commercial ready product in 2025, which will really allow us to dig into the AI and the ML components of our product, using really our team and our expertise and our technology to continue to grow and scale.
So the platform is active right now?
Today.
Okay, is it just local or is it?
No, so we have talent from across the region and across the country. So our readership actually spans from Boston to Florida, from Washington, D.C., all the way to California. So we launched a media platform about 5 years ago and have active engagement across the BioBuzz. And that's the nice thing, I think, especially for Baltimore, right? As companies are spinning out and staying here in Baltimore, they have access to a lot of these other hubs in the region. So Baltimore is part of the Iowa capital region. And so, we're a top 3 hub, but we still have a way to go until we can compete with the Bostons and the San Franciscos of the world. So this allows us to access talent there as well.
what you've done based on the need?
Sure, so we're really focused on the free markets that we're in right now for this next year. We hope to be in the top 25 biohubs in the next 5 years. But in order to do that, we really need the technology to scale. So we've sort of validated that over the last 2 years. And so we're focused on the BioHealth Capital region as our starting point. Tom.
All right, that's time. All right, so you familiar with TEDCO?
Oh, I'm sorry.
TEDCO?
Yes, we work with TEDCO.
Yeah.
We do indeed.
I thought so. All right. Judge Jerry? Yeah, fast. All right. So next up, we have Natasha Taylor of Transform Perspectives.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am Natasha Taylor, as already stated, Transform Perspectives, and who we are. We are a mental health organization. The problem that we're solving is helping individuals live their best God-given life to their best, potential. So, if anyone has ever gone through psychotherapy, myself, been in therapy, I'm really empowered after, yes, I'm gonna be great at all the things. Go home, back into everyday living, and I'm how do I do all the things? So Transform Perspectives is the bridge between your treatment plan, your therapist, and just being successful in daily living, finances, all the things. So a lot of our adults in the program, they miss some things, like coping skills. We may teach them how to do those things effectively, problem solve, communicate. So all of the skills needed to be successful, that's what we're teaching, that's what we're modeling, that's what we're walking out day to day. How to do a budget, how to clean up your home and maintain that. Who's on my team? We're growing, so we're very blessed to hire servant leaders, just people who enjoy serving, who don't mind coming alongside someone and assisting in that day-to-day process, what that looks like. What will we do with the finances? So, I am super excited. My age of choice is transitioning age youth. I have a heart for the teens, young adults. We're doing a retreat August this year. So a lot of the individuals and families that we serve haven't been outside of Baltimore City. So looking to do a surrounding county, have a weekend in a hotel, just be able to talk about the things, your growth, your progress, where you're going, where you came from. So learning how to not be a victim, but to be a victor in life. So that's what we do in a nutshell. Questions?
All right.
I have a question. So you said that you would be the bridge between the treatment plan, and I guess putting everything into play. Now, how does that work? Do you work with a provider? How does that work?
Great question, yes. So the therapist, the psychiatrist or nurse practitioner, they are the referral sources. So a lot of times people like to put the cart before the horse. They want to refer to me. But the individuals and families that we serve have to be actively engaged in psychotherapy or clinical services.
I have a question. What has been one of your favorite Victor stories, or maybe just a synopsis of it?
So, successful discharges is always one. That means that person is able to function independently without. But just seeing, I have a young mom. She has older youth, but they had a lot of support, family. But she has a younger child that she's been, learning how to parent as opposed to handing off an iPad. Really frustrating. Just trying to teach and empower her to employ the skills that she has now learned when her, young, he's pretty young, kindergarten. So, when we're not handing off iPads, You had to teach, you had to read, you had to answer questions, why is a real thing, not because I said so. Like, that's antiquated. We're in a time of information and technology, sorry. So we don't want your baby growing up, having wrong information and thought processes.
All right. Any other questions from the judges?
She's a more prepared,
She's Morgan Bear, so she gets some praise. All right, y'all ready? Okay, you should just make it. Give me grace. All right, next up we have, I can't think of, is that a T or an L? Tanisha Hofstad, and with Hofstad Management. Come on down.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tanisha, and I am the owner of Hubstead Management. I've been in business since 2021, started in real estate in 2016, and then COVID hit and shook the whole world. And I wanted to know how I could stand out from others. So I combined my degree with real estate, and I provide human service housing as an additional service for landlords. So you have the market tenants, you have the Section 8 tenants, and then you have human service tenants. So I go around and I partner with different human service organizations and provide housing for their clients. So the agency is the tenant, and then they put their clients in there depending on their program rules or what have you. And the reason why I wanted to switch the way I did real estate is because, with COVID and everything changing, I had to try to figure out what could be a different way that I could stand out from other property managers. And so also I'm a recent graduate of developer and from May of this year. And so I am participating in the redevelopment of Baltimore City. I'm a first generation Jamaican woman here. My whole family is from Jamaica, and so I'm here to change generational curses. And so I want to be a part of the development that is going on in Baltimore. And also the problem that my business is serving is that we're going to provide jobs. So I applied for my MDOT in January. Everything was approved in April. So we're just waiting for the last step. And, it is to bring more job opportunities for youth. I'm in the process of partnering with YouthWorks. Just did a partnership with higher up in the mayor's office. And also just connecting with different organizations and how I can continue to better serve, Baltimore and providing jobs and employment for the community. And, real estate is one of those industries that is someone's always going to need a house built. Someone's always going to need something rented. I see the two ladies up here. I'll connect with y'all afterwards. Real estate is just one of those professions that, you don't need a degree in. You don't have to feel confident. You just need somebody that can, you can shadow, that can show you the way. And as long as you keep, your higher power first, it can bring endless opportunities. So that's what I did.
We open up for the three judges here.
So you mentioned hiring employees, what specific roles do you hire?
Marketing, admin, continuing to build upon the organizations that we work with, and overall just like the comptroller stated, some of these procurements are really, they're really extensive. So just pretty much having a team that kind of tackles those, and so we can continue to reduce some of the unemployment rate inside of Baltimore.
And what would you do with the $1,500?
I'm actually in the process of trying to get my oyster training, so it will help me do that. I remember at one point I was hustling my business. business, right? And now you're building it, and it's a difference. And so when you're building a brand, you have to continue to, now that I'm not a developer, it's like, all right, what am I doing next? Even though I'm putting that to use, it's like, what am I doing next? And so just continuing to build my brand, continue to take certain trainings and certifications to do so that I can continue to be the voice for that.
So you saying you're gonna, is it a job running this program, or you just, like?
It's employment. So, with the mayor's office, they have a hire up program, for all business owners in here. The mayor's office is currently partnering with small businesses to provide employment opportunities to individuals who are either underemployed or unemployed at $16 an hour at 35 hours a week for 6 months. And within that 6 months, you can either decide to employ them full-time and take them off of the mayor's office payroll, or you can say, hey, this isn't working out, and they'll give you another person that will work for them. And so it's pretty much a program with the mayor's office where they're trying to reduce the amount of unemployment in Baltimore, and they're actually doing an event this coming Friday at the Refugee Museum. I have the information if anyone needs it, but it's just pretty much different. They asked me a question. I finished. Oh, okay. So if anyone needs that information, definitely reach out, okay?
All right, so at this time, we're gonna have the judges deliberate for the, see who's gonna win $150,000.
They're winner? Oh, that's amazing. We're definitely doing it.
So,
After today's event.
so we normally do this. We normally get feedback. Y'all ready for some feedback?
Sure.
All right, so feedback on why they selected the person that won. And I'm gonna get out of the way because it's all good.
We really don't, I don't remember doing feedback, but I mean, it's all good.
Awesome. We always
You always,
It's always feedback. We got
So it's never an easy choice to pick when people have so many great ideas and, they're trying to be innovative and change the world. But we only can pick one. That doesn't mean that you can't try again, or you can't just keep pushing forward with your business. So don't let this discourage you, but encourage you. And our winner is going to be
So this is an opportunity now. Well, first of all, thank you for everybody who participated. It's tough getting up here in front of strangers to make a pitch and talk about your band, right? So thank you for participating and congratulations. You can't get a check, but you can take as many pictures as you want. We will need to check that. But congratulations, and we'll do this again. We won't do this again until September.
We will be starting an IG series called Go Beyond Your
So this is the opportunity for you all to do some networking, and please put some more yellow stickies up there, because when Tamara and I go to Thailand, we want to have something to talk about. So thank you all for coming by, and we appreciate it.